Hello, Armchair Generals. My name is Tom, and I'm back again with my Japanese campaign in Hearts of Iron 3, playing the Black Ice modification version 10.43. We're in late of 1938 at this point, almost ready to finish October here. My promise to wrap up the Chinese campaign by the end of 1938 is kind of on shaky grounds, I'd have to say. Right now, I mean, things are looking really good if you look at it, but I only have 2.5 months to complete operations to conquer the Gengsi Click and take out the rest of Chinese victory points, which there's a few in the west here, a couple in the middle, and I think we've gotten everything. Oh, there's one there in the east. So we've got to get into these separate zones here to be able to go ahead and take those last few victory points. Um, we just finished up our last phase of the previous operations where we're now solidly on this river here. And I need to find if there's a mod. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments if there's a mod that shows the names of rivers. I've seen Gamer 1745. I've seen that he um, is able to see his river names. I would like to have the same effect as well. I think it would add a pretty good role playing aspect to all this. In any event, my next operation started off with a whimper and not a bang. I had about a dozen units in this province here. We're going to be pushing south along this river line here and meet up with my Marine garrison surrounding Shantou. You may be saying, but Tom, you have no Marines surrounding Shantou, and that is correct. It was quiet here for weeks, if not a couple months. No activity whatsoever by the Chinese, and all of a sudden they came in a storm. They were starting to knock my Marines down in organization and strength quite rapidly there. So we retreated to Shantou, and it looked like, with the fact that we were surrounded by four enemy provinces and plenty of troops and all, it looked like that there may be a storm on the horizon. So I went ahead and pulled all my Marines out. Which, granted, this is not an important victory location. I had utilized this as a jumping off point for my last Marine invasion here on this island. Um, so honestly, losing this is not terrible bad. But I moved all Marines over to here. There's most of them are sitting down here, resting and recuperating, as you can see. I've also gotten a couple of reinforcements. At least one is here. I think there's yet another on their way. Here he is, and we do have a liner all set to pick him up and take him on over here. We're going to, even though it's kind of weak, we're still going to go ahead and move him over here. I'm going to make a push from this area here with the reinforcements I will be getting. And oh, you know what? There was also a leader here that I wanted to pick up too. That guy, yes. All right. They're all getting transported there. Um, I want to utilize this area here as a jumping off point into the Gengsi Click area. We're just a hop skipping away from their main cap. Well, actually, I don't think that's their capital. That's their capital up there. But this is their main city here, Nanning. If we can go ahead and take that with sufficient force, I can push either to the northeast or the northwest and take out the other victory point location. With quite a bit of support, I can go for both. But that's future plans. The operation, like I said here, it started off with a whimper, so I had to make a command decision. We were holding this whole entire river line up here, so we went in this way with my troops, and we've crushed the little bit of forces that are here. At the same time, also pushing this way to meet up and attack on this province here to try to grab that, and we can get another cauldron of enemy forces caught there. Speaking of, with all the different surroundings we've done on the enemy, I estimate we've probably captured and or killed ultimately about 850,000 troops, I would say, possibly more. I plan on later on kind of doing a video review solo and just do a tally of all the enemy troops that I eventually did capture and kill in those areas. That's the push we're doing here in this operation. We've also got another push coming this way to kind of cut off these guys somewhat, just push to the river and just help push everybody to the west here and assist in this maneuver here. Ultimately, wanted to push all the way down to Shantou where the Marines were, but that'll still probably be the the goal, I may hook a wild swing to the left here, to the east, and just try to take Xamanin and just get a little bubble here of troops caught. But that's the next operation here. And then the second phase of the operation is to go ahead and move down this river, which I think we're starting to do. I think we succeeded in taking this province. We're going to slowly push down this river here. We don't have enough troops to make it all the way down to Hong Kong, for example. We don't have enough troops for that. But as long as I can make it all the way along this river and create like a second wall, as it were. From the north, we're just basically holding this river. That was the idea, is just to ensure that we can get to this river and just hold it, pen in the Chinese units, make sure that they're watching me as I'm watching them. We're shutting down this province here eventually, and we'll be able to have this river as well. I think Manchuria is my allies are going to go ahead and reduce this province pretty soon. And we have a line here of troops, and we're going to slowly push our way eastward here, very, very slowly. The idea is to hopefully get close enough to Bays, how you pronounce that, and attack them there. Overall, the circle is tightening on the Chinese, and they certainly realize that. They're retreating everywhere. With our with our focus right now on China, we've been doing most of our research towards Army, nation, land force. Recently, though, we've started to do some research towards our naval. You can see a lot of this mid stuff here is mostly naval. And that's my goal here, is to try to catch up to and even exceed whatever the current year is in tech. Make sure I can get equivalent year or even 1 year ahead in some of my more urgent techs, like say submarines, for example, and carrier technology. So my research focus has been changing. We're kind of hindered because I'm having to put, as you can see, a good third of my total leadership toward officers. Where we were at a low point around 76%, I thought, or so, that somewhere around there, of an officer ratio a while back. But we've been recuperating. Most of my officer losses have not been to battle, though. I mean, obviously we've lost officers in battle, some very terrible battles that I have chosen, but the majority of my officers have been lost to the historical units that you get throughout the game. Several nations have the opportunity to either select historical unit buildups, or just you can do your own thing. If you choose the historical buildup, as you get these units into the game and placed immediately on the map, you'll get a spawn penalty, an IC spawn penalty. We don't have that here yet because it looks like all my spawn penalty, um, yeah, all my spawn penalties have disappeared now, gone away, and we're up to 230 IC, which that's just tremendous. We are putting more than half of my IC in towards production there. We can actually put a little bit more because we don't need that much in reinforcement. Supplies, we're probably about where I need to be. I think my need is around 30 to 35 supplies. Um, that, even though it's showing a negative, it's actually about a net positive. It kind of ebbs and flows. It goes up and down each day. Right now in this day we're on a down. Tomorrow I'll probably be up by like 450 or something like that. So the net result, it happens to be a net positive. We're all, like I said, putting so much stored production. We're able to put all this IC towards all of the fleet builds that were originally thrown in this production queue back in the beginning of 1936, and I even have some industry that I'm beginning to build too. 230 IC is great, but I need more. This will get me up to 250. And I'll probably actually even more than that once we complete our conquest of China here. Hopefully, get me up to about 300. I would like to get closer to 500, but that's way in the future, unfortunately. We will finish up our army builds, at which we've done. Yeah, we've done that entirely right now. These are the remnants of the specialized light infantry. I'd ordered 10 divisions back in the beginning of the game. 7 have been completed. The last 2 are actually down in the island area here. This peninsula, not sure what its name is, but they'll be heading into Gungsi Click. The remaining 3 I'm going to finish up later, whenever whenever I can. I have a bunch of other IC sitting around. Oh, I lied. We actually had five that still need to be built here. So I only had built about half of my production that I requested. I think for future games that I play, um, and I may just simply do five, do a core's worth of specialized light infantry the way that I do them. And I guess on that note, if you want to take a quick look at what one of my units are that I create, there are specialized light infantry that start the game and come in as historical units for Japan throughout. There's a few, probably about a dozen or so. The ones that I build, they're start off with a specialized light infantry, but I try to maintain their speed. If you can see, the slowest unit here is the artillery regiment, and that's actually unfortunately the fastest artillery piece you can get as Japan. But at 5 kph, that's pretty good. That's faster than a frontline unit, like the first division or something like that. So I try to throw in fast troops as much as I possibly can. You see, there's a light armor battalion, a motorized infantry battalion. We got our aforementioned artillery, recon cav, truck transport to help speed them up as well. They do use, as you can see, about 8 fuel a day in their operations. 5.5 supplies every day as well. So they do suck down some stuff, but we got plenty of fuel. If it wasn't for the fact that mechanized, motorized, armored were just so expensive, and Japan really can't afford it. Not to mention that light armor battalion and motorized battalion, they weigh a lot. To transport this unit will take several, probably about 2 or 3 passenger ships, but nonetheless, I can't transport a full core of these guys on a couple of passenger ships. I've got to have quite a few to do so. Um, so I think I might in the future, any further campaigns with Japan, just build five. That way I can get to my naval builds a little bit quicker. Speaking of builds, the year started off with inquiry from the Black Ice modification, where we wanted to put our focus either into our Army or Navy, and I chose Navy, so we can get shipyards built. So for long term, we can help speed up the builds of our fleets and things like that. But I chose the overall build focus to be towards the IJA. My thinking at that time, and I kind of deliberated for quite a while, was that I need to help speed up the build of my army so I get to my Navy builds that much quicker. In retrospect, I probably should have just chosen the IJN and switched over to the Navy builds a little bit quicker than I ended up, which was I think mid or towards the late August there. Historically, whenever I play Japan, I really don't ever do any Navy builds until 1939, January of 1939, when I choose both IGA and IGN. This, I think, is teaching me that I need to focus on the Navy builds in 38, actually, because I need to build up. More importantly, like for example, my carrier fleets. I need to get more carrier fleets. We got 2 light and 2 regular. On that note, I took I loaded the game initially, and tag switched over to the United States. That's where you hit your tilde key, and now you have the cheat window here. We can enter in various cheats. If you do a Google search, you can just type in Hearts of Iron 3 cheats, and it'll give you a list of cheats that you can type in here. We can give yourself supplies and money and things of that nature. There's various different things you can do. You can even do an instant production build buy, where everything that's in your production queue gets built in one day. However, that works for all of the countries. So while you can get yourself everything that you want in as many days, as quickly as you want, unfortunately the AI is matching time with you on that too. But in any event, I did a tag switch over to the United States, and I discovered something a little bit distressing. Earlier this year, they had built 2 of their carriers, which historical, I kind of expected that. I just want to see how many carriers total they had and what overall they were looking at building. Kind of role playing it, saying that I spent some effort in spies for the United States to provide me some information that I wasn't able to glean otherwise. And I discovered they have a couple carriers on their eastern coast here, which is per usual. They have a couple carriers here in Hawaii. They've also got 4 carriers currently in their production queue. So while we're at fairly even parity with our carriers, I think they have or three regular and one light. The Ranger, I believe, is a light carrier, and the other three were just regular carriers. We're still kind of fairly even in our carrier builds. They're actually out producing me in regards to their carrier build. So even if these guys were produced at the same time as theirs, I would be behind. So I really feel I need to get on the ball here, wrap up the Chinese campaign as soon as possible, and in 1939 I need to be focusing on building some more carrier fleets, which we'll be doing probably in the next episode or two. We'll set up some future builds in that regards. I want to get through some of these current builds here a little bit more quickly and kind of see where we're at that point. On that note, too, I was gushing over the fact that as Japan, I have 230 IC based on a base of 150, which that's pretty good for Japan. I'm sure there's better ways that I could get to a higher IC total. For example, starting off with industry builds in the first year or two, and just discounting any kind of army builds. Just let the historical units come in and do their job. That may be a strategy that I'll try in a future game. But the United States, I saw, had over 850 IC available. They were actually wasting about 350 of it. Not that they didn't have enough resources; they had almost 100,000 of each, but they were wasting more IC than I have available. So that kind of scared me overall. I need to step up my game. We need to finish this conflict as rapidly as possible. Begin war then against Tibet, so we can maintain our war status and not have to really spend that much of consumer goods. I think this is the result of actually, why am I having to spend $15 into consumer goods? Oh, Oh yes. One of the decisions I had was the war bonds or increased taxes, because I was seeing a bit of a hit on money. At the time I was down. Well, at one point I was actually below $2,000, and thus I had that hit to dissent and other things. I think at the point where I chose that decision to actually choose moderate increase to taxes to give me some more money, I think it was around a couple $1,000s, $3,000, $4,000, something like that. And I've got some tech coming. Where is that? Industry or nation? Um, the monumental architecture and the what is it? It's the communication one. There's one that's I don't see where that's at exactly. Maybe it might be on here. I'm just not, my eyes aren't being drawn to it right. Broadcasting. That's it. Monumental architecture and broadcasting provide in black ice a couple of strategic effects. You can build one of almost a dozen buildings that have different features to them. And once you have monumental architecture researched and broadcasting, there's three different projects you can focus into that each have three tiers that have improving bonuses. At the time, I was researching those, and I knew I was going to be spending a couple $1,000s on those. So I figured, let's increase our taxes, increase our money, so we can get these buildings. And also, too, there'll be coming soon. We'll have to purchase some further strategic resources, copper, so we can help improve our build speed for our naval forces. That way, they can get built quicker. Plus, also copper negates a little bit of the about half of the negative that you receive on your metal production. Zinc, possibly, though right now I don't think I need to worry about zinc. That also negates a portion of the metal production penalty that you have, or that you start with, I should say. So I probably don't need zinc since I'm almost at 100,000. And chromite. Chromite I definitely want because that provides IC efficiency. A very juicy thing. It helps, if I remember correctly, it helps improve overall speed. Or I take that back. I think I want to say the amount of IC that you're spending here, the IC efficiency helps improve that overall. So that way you're not spending as much resources, and your IC is better used effectively overall. In any event, chromite's a very wanted thing. It does help in other areas, but it's not helping Japan other than the IC efficiency. So the long and the short of it all is I increased my taxes so I could get some money coming in monthly hopefully making up for the almost $300 a week, or I'm sorry, a month that I'm losing here due to what I'm trading away on. Which do we need to continue? Yeah, we do because we still need to be buying rare materials. We're actually down quite a bit there. I need to see if I can't get another rare material trade off. I need to see if I can also get a some trades for energy out there and even fuel. But everybody that I checked just recently, they don't have enough money to handle that. But that's pretty much the state of affairs, if you will, towards the latter two-thirds, three-quarters almost of 1938. I only have 2.5 months remaining before we slip into the new year, and my Tom Antic promise is looking very shaky in regards to conquering China and the Gungsi Click. So, without further ado, having started and saved the game immediately and not crashing, I'm going to go ahead and begin play, and we'll see kind of where we are. I know where I'm attacking in several different areas, several different provinces. I just don't know exactly where and what we're doing there. Um, Pyongyang, okay. I did see, well, yeah, there's an attack here on my marine. I thought about pulling back initially and just holding these two provinces, and at worst, even really this province, but these two provinces to kind of be able to hold this whole entire area. But now I have some reinforcements. I think I can hold this quite handily. And as such, I'm going to go ahead and move up my marine and specialized light infantry up into this and spoil that attack on me here. These guys, these Marines, we're going to begin to move them up, but quite honestly, they don't have. Why can't we move? Huh. Well, we'll wait. We'll wait. I guess there must be something preventing me from moving these guys here. Well, in any event, I need to begin to get them moved up here. We'll see if we're able to do so. Can I strategically redeploy? Yes, I can. We'll just do that then. If you don't want to move, we're just going to strategically redeploy you up there. Oh, Leishan. Okay, that's the province that I had some initial battles many months ago. I think back in the spring, maybe early summer, and they didn't go very well. I've moved up some decent reinforcements. With puppeting Zibisan Ma here, they've got a very good army overall. Period. Actually, all of the Chinese allies have, well, except for maybe Yunnan, but all the Chinese allies have a pretty decent army. I puppeted Zibisan Ma, so I don't have to worry about garrisoning this while I go through the rest of my attacks on China here. They've actually pushed into. Yeah, they've taken this province, this province. Well, this one I got taken anyway. They've actually moved into several of the Chinese provinces here and expanded the territory and given it to me. But I don't really care about that overly much. There's only a few units remaining, and I'm sure that they can be destroyed in good order. I guess. Well, we're not going to worry about it. We're moving further reinforcements in here, and then we also got units moving in there. The idea is I want to be able to have this river taken as well, so I can kind of flatten out my line somewhat. I've got a bunch of units defending in various different locales. Actually, if these provinces can be taken as well, I don't have to worry about my rear then. I can fully move eastward. That might actually be a good thing to do. If I attack here, well, if I attack here and then we support it, I don't have a unit there. I don't have any other units that can support the attack there. If we attack and win, what's here, a militia and infantry unit will just die. And then I don't need to even worry about really putting anything there. The same kind of goes for here. But those are infantry units, frontline infantry units. I don't think I'll worry about attacking there. I am kind of worrying about attacking there. Let's just go ahead and do it. There we go. Because if we can eliminate them entirely, that's battle experience. The units will just disappear. Even though at this point, this stage in the game, it's just manpower lost for no real gain, other than, like I said, experience. But removing these two provinces and eventually even this one will mean that I don't need to worry about my rear any further. I can just push all my forces on this river, have everybody on this river here, and then begin to push eastward to the couple of victory point provinces that I need to get to. Okay, we were attacked there and we won, and we were attacked there and we won. I need to, let's see, the 11th is having some difficulty there, but that's okay. We can actually come down here. He just needs to sit on that and hold it. These guys are a bit weak, but they can support the attack still. The 101st is too weak, unfortunately. 13th, when he's able to attack, which will be tomorrow, he'll move in there. The lucky third will support him. We'll see how lucky they truly are. This guy, he only has the one enemy province, which he can move into there anyway, and then there. And we have a bunch of troops here. They need to. I'm kind of. Yeah, I'm supposed to be pushing kind of this way, but you know what? I'm just rolling up. At this point, my initial attack south was such that way I could cut off a huge swath of the enemy. Unfortunately, I think I've bitten off well more than I can chew. Almost all these units here are out of supply. The combat operations that's going on here, there's too many units in this province to handle the supply requirements. Where's my supply? There we go. As you can see there in the lower right corner, our required daily supply is 109, 110, plus 110 fuel. With the infrastructure, we can actually transport 120 supplies and fuel, but we're only receiving 9 supply and 63, just half the fuel that we were required, and just not even a tenth of the supply needed. Do I have? He needs to be solely focusing on providing supply to this province. Unfortunately, he probably carries like, actually, I don't know if you can even look and see how much supply he carries. He probably just carries like a couple points of supply, and that's it. As we saw too, it's not that great of a, with the 4 infrastructure, it's not all that great for providing supply there. I have too many units here that are conducting combat operations that honestly we can't sustain what we're doing here. I think as such, we're going to go ahead and move our units around a little bit, spread them out some. That way they're not all soaking up the supply needed. Kind of spread them out onto all these provinces here, so that way the supply can move into each of the provinces. So if that should lower the amount of supply required for that province, and thus these guys will start getting back in supply. Being out of supply, you can see how low their overall organization is. These guys weren't really involved in combat or combat all that much. It was just that they're out of supply for so long, their organization started draining away. We've regained our supply, so as such, we're gaining our org back. Furthering the conversation, therefore, I'm just now going to push in and roll back this front all the way to the river. Right now, I'm not interested in capturing any more Chinese. We'll do so when we can, like here in this area where I have the 1 unit attacking there. Let's have him also support. How is that going? Yeah, we got plenty of units. Actually, that should be going very well. That 99 is probably a false 99, but his organization is so low he should be breaking pretty soon. I want to go ahead and cut off this province here and kill some more troops for sure, but it was rather ostentatious to say I was going to go all the way south here to Shantou and cut off all the units that I was hoping to do so. I should do a German campaign as well and run that for you guys to kind of show you how I handle that. I can be rather ostentatious as well. I usually send a whole bunch of armor units out. We're going to move him there afterwards. These guys moving here. Leave behind that guy, and he will move to the other Fuzhou. There's a Fuzhou and another Fuzhou. Fuzhou 1, Fuzhou 2. So we're beginning to roll the enemy back here. Let's see, he's going to come in that way. He will support that attack. He can outright attack there. This guy is just 1. He's got 2 provinces he's in charge of here. He can actually attack the city here, and he will assist. We'll see what happens. There's a couple, about looks like 3 garrison units there. Okay, so I have everything that I can happening there. This one's was going far better than this operation. This is my second phase of this kind of operation. But we don't have enough troops here. I have 9 units. I got the 2 militia and a couple infantry there that are staying back. I could probably, in any event, I don't have enough units to make it all the way down south exactly. But I think I can just leave the militia behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units in there, dropping a unit off at each location there. As such, let's move the 109th and the 19th. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so, and then from here, or no, let's go there like that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll go here, drop off a unit, and then go here, and just kind of hold a line like such. Not quite to the river all the way. I may actually adjust that a little bit and have them kind of push in somewhat. But I think once we're done pushing up to this river here, then we'll have the Chinese here kind of squeezed in somewhat, and then we can look at how much further we need to push. Where that guy's still being transported. All right. Danbia. Yep. I'm glad I took that risk because those troops just vaporized. They had been cut off from supply. I had this line drawn through. There were several Chinese units caught in this area here, probably half a dozen, maybe a few more. These guys have been cut off for so long that their organization, like my other units over here to the far east, was so low that they just surrendered. So that's 21,000 troops there. At that point now, I don't even need to worry about maintaining the facade of we've got defenses here in the rear. Neither does ZB Ma for that matter. They can sit in their area all they want. This is going very well. You see, we just engaged probably about an hour ago, and their organization's so low, they're also going to have to surrender. Once that's done, I think I have him tasked to move in there. I'm going to stop him and not do so, and then I'll have my cav unit um, attack this conscript, and probably the same thing will happen as well. He'll just fade away and disappear. The idea is not really to gain the territory. The idea is to shorten my lines, kind of move my forces more eastward. So with that now, I just need to worry about what's here on the other side of the river. That was here, yes, and Yun Yang. Yeah, that's all these troops moving southward. Like I said, this operation was just going so much better than this one. I don't understand the two, other than the fact that it was just out of supply, and therefore that probably had a negatory impact on our attacks. When did I? Yeah, 17th. We'll save real quick. I have been talking quite a bit, and I do apologize for that. I appreciate everybody's time in viewing my campaigns here, my episodes. Um, but I'll kind of hush up a little bit more now and actually begin my attacks and stuff like that. Play the game a little bit more thoroughly. I call this Huff Duff, HF DF Advance. 1940 tech. We'll go ahead and just cancel it out because we don't need it. I'm glad to be seeing all this green now. I had chosen so many naval forces um, research options here that we were just deep in the red. I think I had just still the 40 leadership applied to it, and I think we are researching over 80 techs. So now being down to 48, I'm happy to see that. We got quite a few techs that'll be wrapping up over the course of the next couple months here, so that's good. If it's fuel, I don't need, but they want to buy supplies. Yes, let's go ahead and do that. 50 for almost 20 bucks. Yeah, I'll do that every day. We're still, it actually looks like we're dropping in our supplies there. So what are we doing? 0.05, that's 100 days. By the end of the year, my descent will be gone. I'll leave this alone. Where are we down to? We're actually beginning to research that. Let me jump this up to 51. That's going to take away my builds for a couple of these industries here. Definitely take away the money or the IC we're putting into that last unit here. But we need to boost up supplies. I'd like to be close to around 50,000 in supplies because I know you can lose supplies quite rapidly. Combat operations as well as events that you get, either historical units that or other type of events that cost supplies. Portugal wants one of my destroyers. They're very wise to go ahead and request that. I will be happy to make almost $5 in selling them one. Yeah, and we have one, so that's good. I don't need to have him tasked to go there. We can come over this way. I don't care if I just need to destroy the units in that province. That's all. Yan, Hukao. Okay, so we finally won and moved into this province here. You can see the amount of troops that have been involved in the overall. Well, it's probably not the overall battle because there's a couple times I had won here, but because we were out of supply, we couldn't move into the province. It was still an enemy province, and as such, the Chinese moved in reinforcements, and then I had to go. Once we got supply, we had to start all over again. That's why I moved in the units that I did westward, so we can go ahead and take that province here. He doesn't need to move there; he can stay there. Okay, we stole single engine armament research level 4. Single engine armament. Is that around here? Single engine armament. Or is that under prototypes? Yeah, that's prototypes. Single engine armament. That's this one here. Well, cool. I do need to research these because in order to research further into any of our other light aircraft, the interceptors that we have, close air support that I have, fighter bombers, more importantly, the CAG, the carrier aircraft, I need these three, plus I think aero engine research. I need all these all researched. Yeah, aero engine research needs to be gleaned as well. So yay for that. My spies are doing their job. Nanfang, we won there. Ningguo, yeah, that even though it was 30%, they just gave up because they're trying to now retreat in good order and get to what they feel is safety. That's 20. As you can see, it's kind of low, but you know what? These guys don't have any supply at all coming to them anymore, so any organization losses are permanent for them. Wanyan, that's here. The ultimate goal, a lot of these battle reports is simply we're pushing westward to the river. That's all. Transport ship hull events. That's 1940 tech. We'll go ahead and stop that. But that will give us the landing craft flotillas, and I want to go ahead and research that now. One of the things I did is I took a look at America's research, and quite honestly, they're not researching certain things that I would expect a U.S. player would be researching. However, I did see they had all this available to them, or in some cases, they're up to current tech in landing craft and assault ship flotillas. So they're kind of ahead of me in the game here. All their other naval techs, I kind of took a brief look. Carriers, they're pretty much even. In some cases, they weren't. They had some 1938 tech that wasn't being researched or was currently being researched, I should say. Their capital ship tech, they were kind of behind on several things there. So I think I'm doing okay in that regards. Cruiser tech, I'm actually ahead of the game here compared to the U.S. So a little bit of a spying operation that I did. Honestly, that's not going to help me 3 years from now per se. I just kind of wanted to test the waters and see how they were doing compared to me at this point in the game. Not terribly helpful. Kind of scared me a little bit, but I felt like I needed to make some moves pretty rapidly here. Speaking of making moves, we'll go ahead and move these guys on down south here. We'll also move that armor unit on down along with them. We need to, let's see here, we need to be pushing. The 101st, he can come all the way there like so. When he's able to attack, that's 3 days from now, we'll have him go that way. That way we're just slowly squeezing this here. We have an extra. Oh, that's a Kempetai, and that is an unused leader. I'm going to have him go down south. Um, this guy, speaking of the south, he made it. Is there was a leader here? Yes. And this guy, he also needs to join that same leader there. Okay. Everybody's and moving in the reinforcements that I did, the extra marine and the specialized light infantry, turned that 30% down to an 8. So we'll be winning this battle here quite handily. These guys still kind of need to regain their org, but I'm going to move these marines up, and we're just going to sit here. This specialized infantry needs to move up as well, but he needs to get some org and some strength. Needs to get some units under his belt. We'll keep all those headquarter units there. If there's another partisan that appears in here, I'll just send the headquarter units out to take care of that. That's not going too well. Like I said, there's 3 garrison units there, and that's not going well because this guy is getting attacked. That attack's being spoiled. As such, we're just going to stop the attack entirely. Zuzhou, we're now pushing southward here. This is phase 2, which is doing far better than phase 1 of this operation to to kill off half of the Chinese country here. We lost, 6-1 losses here, about even odds. We actually had more troops than they did, but the spoiling attack, unfortunately, was causing the overall attack to not go very well. Plus, it's an urban attack, and honestly, I don't like these types of infantry units. There's a 4th one somewhere around here. Don't like them. They're not all that efficient. These frontline guys, these guys are really good. Um, some of these guys actually have even more experience than what I'm even showing here because of the amount of battles that they've been engaged in. Yeah, here this guy 2.5 stars, uh, almost 3 stars. Several units have been involved. These guys mostly have been involved in the battles way back up here in the north, so they've gotten a lot of combat experience. And so because I called off the attack, they in turn called off their spoiling attack. We were losing a whole bunch of troops. They probably should have just kept on with the attack, and they might have done a lot better. But whatevers, I say. When do you get to attack? 29 hours. As such, we'll just have you go ahead and begin the move in there. Supported. He is coming down, and we'll have him go in that way. Okay, yeah, we're spreading out in that kind of manner here. So I'll just let things keep going. 11, that looks bad, but you know what? And I know it's going down. It was 20 something, but you know what? They're just going to keep losing their organization anyway. So, and once he is able to join the attack here in the next couple of days, that's going to get so much better. And yeah, they're moving into here. When can he attack? Also 2 days. We'll have him go that way and then there, like so. The 5th, we will have him come here and do that, kind of hook around that way. Otherwise, everybody else is kind of sitting. Gotta wait till we can regain some org or get even more troops up to the forefront. He can come down that way. Yeah, we've got enough troops. This railway artillery unit was involved in the battles here quite handily, and I had it strategic redeployed to attack on Yan'an, which was needed because Yan'an is a very tough nut to crack overall. Helped get the Communist Chinese out a little more quicker than I thought, but ever since that country fell, which that's been 8 months ago, he's been slowly winding his way down. He's going to keep doing that. I'm going to send him eventually over to Hong Kong, and he'll be involved in the Battle of Hong Kong. Hopefully, he makes it to Hong Kong in the next 3 years. We'll see. People probably think I'm joking about that, but yeah, railway artillery only has a half kilometer per hour movement rate. $7, we'll do that for the 5, almost 6 rare. That'll help out greatly. We get an influx of party rally. We're up to 82%, but we've got money. We can go ahead and do it. We'll lose 1,000 supplies, but that's okay. We're up to 34,000 now. We were 10,000 less than that a while ago. That lowers revolt risk, um, the descent change, so we should be seeing that go down quite a bit more. Lowers money. That's okay. We're getting, thanks to the increased taxes, we're getting a influx of money each month. I can't quite tell how much it is. I'm pretty sure it's just a random amount, like say between 3 to 5,000 a month, perhaps for that. Uh, you had three different various levels. You had light, medium, or heavy taxes that you could do. I chose medium to try to get more money there. Yangsheng, that was 13, almost 14,000 troops that we captured and or killed. So we actually did pretty well there. Lost quite a few troops, but that's okay. As I said, I don't want him to actually move in there because we've got some enemies to the east. Though, I want him to now go attack here, and it's a conscript. He should just disappear. Once I've done that, I don't need to worry about these provinces, and nor do I need to worry about my western borders anymore. I'll actually be able to move this cavalry unit up to the front here because there's won't be any enemy to surrounding him that he needs to be concerned about. So yeah, I think since we're going up the way we are with our supplies, we had about 5,000 since I observed it before. I think we're doing okay there. We'll leave that alone. Consumer goods still 0.05. I think tomorrow we might see an improvement on that. I'll wait to the end of the month. I spent most of my episode here talking. I do again apologize on that. Just kind of explaining my thought process in playing this game, and why I do what I do. Overall, I think we're doing much better now than where I left off last episode. There, I'm gonna have these guys support the attack. They're still gonna sit here and kind of wait a bit. But I'm gonna have them support and I'll have them also support the attack. We'll make that attack go by a little bit quicker. This is going better now because everybody is now involved here. The 17th, though, is about to break, so we'll just go ahead and say no. We still won, or no, we didn't win. I saw it switch over and thought, oh, we won there. But no, it dropped down from 6.3 to 6%, but these two guys are in decent shape. Fan Chang, we did win, though. So we're pushing 27,000 troops down that way. Ningdu, we're pushing them to the river. Poyang, we won. Yeah, once we put the units in these provinces or this area here and the units in there to support in that province, we won quite handily. Went from 20-something% to almost instant win, I'm sure. We can tick off that here. We got some air combat. Oh. Let's see. This unit here. We need to stop what we're doing there. You guys are a little bit wounded. I don't want to risk losing you. I guess on that note, let's um, take a look. Okay, yeah, that's those guys. Let's take a look here. Overall, I think we're doing pretty good. We have our close air support, assist in those, and assist in these, and start wearing away those guys. These guys will go into these regions here. Take out any targets of opportunity that they're able to. They need to stop. They need to rest and reorg. We're providing, I'm just going to keep doing that. We're going to keep throwing supply into this province here. It'll trickle down. These guys don't have any orders. We're going to go ahead and tell them they're at 75% strength. Honestly, I don't think they need to worry about anti-air in these regions here. We'll just have them attack all along here. We got our interceptors going. Yeah, I'm still gonna have them fly out here. There are some Chinese ships though. They've got 3 ports to their name at this point now. Even though hovering over doesn't show anybody in those ports, but I don't have anybody around or nearby. Well, here I do, so there shouldn't be anybody in that port. But my intelligence probably isn't strong enough to be able to detect if there is some ships here. So I'll keep my Uh, these guys here, naval bombers flying. He doesn't need to be flying out that far though. He can just handle that area. Okay, interceptors are going. We have some medium bombers that honestly want them to rest. That guy's at 53%. Okay, just want to check, make sure everything is okay there. I don't want to lose any air. Some games I've actually, we'll take that money. Supplies for money, sure. Some games I kind of forget my air, and they'll get involved. Like my bombers will get involved in air battles, and I don't provide them sufficient air support. Where like interceptors, for example, or even fighter bombers, and they'll start getting shot out of the sky, and I don't realize it until like later. I'm like, oh, where'd that wing go? Or why does this wing only have one plane in it now? That's because I wasn't paying full and on attention. Our supply has dropped quite a bit. I thought we're up to 34,000 at one point. Now we're down to 22,000. Okay, whatever's. That's still going down. So yeah, 100 days. 100 days, that'll go away. We're still pushing down south. Good. We're pushing them to the river. Yeah, that battle will be wrapping up very quickly here. Again, I just want to get to the end of the month here. Maybe even get this all conquered. Hopefully by the end of the month. We'll see. Yeah, probably not. These guys still take a couple days. There and there, like so. We'll do that. They're spoil attacking me there. That's fine. The way they're moving, okay. He needs to rest and recuperate. He actually can kind of move on down. We're going to move on all the way down to here. We're going to do a little bit of, we need some reinforcements. We can begin pushing that way from here. Cruiser, medium, anti-air, 1936 tech. We will leave that. Yeah, seeing this phase of the operation going as well as it is, and this one improving, the first phase improving quite handily. I'm feeling a lot better now of being able to take all this here, say in the next month, and even finishing up my combat operations in China by the end of the year. Feeling a little more confident in that regards. Initially, I was just feeling kind of down. And if anybody's played Hearts of Iron 3 for a while, I'm sure you've probably felt the same way too. In some cases, where you're playing and playing, and all of a sudden, like you receive some setbacks, and things aren't going as well as you want, and you begin to feel a bit down. I would say that should be understandable for most players. Okay, they gave up the attack on me there. We're going to support the attack from there across the river to speed up this attack here. So this is my main. These two areas are my main areas of operations, but we do have some combat going up and down across the line there. Gucci, there you got almost 37,000 troops in this province. They're all well. It looks like they're retreating this way, which cool. If they do, we're already in the middle of attacking here. That's fine. We're pushing this way though, so whatever units are ending up here will get killed very quickly, and then we can kind of reverse treads and hit them in the rear on this province and kill them. They finally gave up the attack there. Very, very bloody. 10-1 losses for them. We lost only 1,000 troops. They lost 10,000. They had more. I mean, manpower-wise, they had 20,000 more troops than I did almost. But yeah, that wasn't that wasn't the best of results for them, unfortunately. I'm going to leave my two weakest Marines down there. I'll move him up. Here, I'm going to move a Marine up, and we'll begin combat operations. We're actually going to kind of move. Um, I'll have two more units there, so I'll have 7 units total. I want to move across the river here, which I might do with, say, one unit and support the attack with everybody else. And I want to move westward this way, cross the river. That way, then I can attack this city without having to worry about river crossing bonuses. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would then leave three other units that could attack that. Yeah, I like that idea. We're still attacking here and not too up. That's because I totally forgot about that guy. He needs to support the attack there. We don't need to worry anymore about what's going on behind us exactly. And I forgot to even look over there. I probably saw it pop up, and it probably was a 0-0 loss. And I just assumed it was like one of these provinces here where they attacked me and pulled back right away. We've killed all the units or captured all the units that were left behind here because they had no place to retreat. As such, then, the scav units can get involved in moving forward. Speaking of two, he's going to move this way and then that way, and he will support the attack. We can start to move our troops eastward here. Everybody that's here, these are some pretty good units. He needs to kind of rest and reorg a little bit better, but we're going to go ahead and push across the river that way. He can now move with him, or these guys can now also all move like so. It'll take him a little bit of time to get there. Those are leader units moving down. He's also a leader unit moving down. I have anybody else that's in this area? No. So it's all Zibisema. And Zibisema can handle their country. That's fine. I don't need them. I don't need them pushing. Well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's tell them to start moving this way. They've got a lot of units. The main reason for me puppeting them was so that way I didn't have to throw units up here to kind of hold it and prevent partisans from running rampant throughout here. But you know what? They've got a good army. I can have them move into this, help me move into these areas very well. The other countries, like I said, they have pretty good armies, except for Yunnan. They have pretty good armies as well. Shaanxi and the Communist Chinese. The only problem is once I got to a point where I conquered Shaanxi and the Communist Chinese, their armies were effectively destroyed because they only had so few provinces left by the time I got to their final victory point, that their army just was of no consequence. Zibisema, a bit different. I pushed straight to their victory point here and threw off a spur and moved to their two victory points here in the east. That left most of their forces that were in Zibisema in good order, and also, for that matter, to the east. Let me go ahead and pause this real quick. I got a phone call coming in. Alrighty, sorry for that pause there in the video, everybody. I had an important phone call that I needed to take. I'm actually going to just end the video at this point because well over the 45-minute mark. I don't want to bore everybody with a very long video here, but overall, in a span of 3 to 4 weeks nearly, I think this overall conflict has kind of turned around. We're pushing in on this river from the east here, instead of being able to conquer it all and close off a bunch of Chinese troops. We're just getting a few up here, but I think I'm fine with that here with the movements I'm making westward to this river. This other phase of the same operations going along pretty smoothly. We're pushing along this river here southward. So overall, I think we're going to be getting a good swath of Chinese land and troops destroyed here in good order. We're now beginning, now that we've eliminated the enemy units that were left behind here in the west, we're able to push eastward here, given marching orders to my puppet, and I'd like to see how swiftly they begin to make their move. These little red dots is where I told them to go ahead and begin moving their forces. I thought I told him to move there as well. Yeah, there we go. These red dots where I told them to go ahead and begin maneuvers to get to those provinces. And that's the general thrust here. Is we want now, since we're more of a circle here, we're going to be pushing in, pushing in, pushing in to different places, to try to get these final remaining victory points and get this war drawn to a close. Appreciate everybody watching. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave it down below there. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. But otherwise, I will see you guys next episode. Take care.